So here's what just happened and why it's already blowing up across social media. Bill Maher went on live television and did what he always does best, cut through the noise with that calm.
CNN is the place where both sides can watch. And
I'm talking about the people on CNN. And what I know what the conservative side of America thinks, and I don't blame them. They were just gushing about how great a speech it was. And I think she did fine. I didn't think it was as good as they were making it out to be.
Surgical precision. And this time, CNN was in the hot seat. The topic? Kamala Harris and what some are already calling a full-blown disaster for the Democrats heading into the election. Now, CNN had been running cover, spinning storylines, trying to paint Kamala as resilient under pressure.
It does look like tokenism. It's kind of like the same as The View.
I don't think that you can say that CNN is anything but fair. Everyone who was speaking last night, it's not like they were all Democrats. I mean, we had Dana Bash, Jake Tapper, Abby Phillip.
They come across
giving
that way.
Analysis.
They come across that way. In a moment like that, it was like 5-1.
But Maher wasn't having any of it. He called out the hypocrisy right on the spot, pointing out how CNN bends the narrative depending on who's in power. And the wild part? He didn't even raise his voice. No shouting, no theatrics, just cold, blunt honesty. He laid it out plain. The American people aren't buying the polished PR story anymore. They see the gaffes, they hear the awkward speeches, and they notice the disconnect between what CNN reports and what's actually happening. And Maher? He went on how media bias isn't just embarrassing. It's dangerous because it makes leaders like Kamala look untouchable when in reality, voters are more skeptical than ever. You could literally feel the silence in the room. CNN anchors tried to deflect, tried to pivot, but Maher kept calmly dragging the receipts, reminding them that journalism isn't supposed to be cheerleading. It's supposed to be accountability. And that's why this moment is trending. Because whether you love him or hate him, Bill Maher just held up a mirror to the media, and CNN couldn't look away. Now let's dig deeper into what went down after that first exchange, because this wasn't just a quick jab. It turned into one of the sharpest takedowns we've seen on live television in months. Bill Maher, in that trademark measured tone, started dismantling CNN's defense of Kamala Harris piece by piece. He didn't come at them with insults or over-the-top rhetoric. Instead, he used facts, patterns, and a kind of blunt logic that made the network squirm. He pointed out how every time Harris stumbles in a speech, every time she fumbles through an interview, CNN rushes in with a context story, a damage control piece, or some attempt to reframe the narrative as though it never happened. And here's where it hit hard. Maher calmly reminded them that voters aren't dumb. The clips go viral. People watch them in real time on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. The American public sees Kamala's struggle. They share it, they meme it, and they react to it instantly. By the time CNN rolls out its polished analysis, the damage is already done. And Maher's point was brutal. When media outlets pretend those flaws don't exist, they only widen the gap between themselves and the public they claim to serve. But he didn't stop there. He zoomed out, looking at the bigger picture, the way CNN and other legacy networks have lost massive chunks of their audience to independent voices online. Maher made it clear that part of the reason alternative media is booming is because viewers are sick of being told what to think. They want raw takes, unfiltered discussion, and yes, even uncomfortable truths about their leaders. And that's exactly what CNN wasn't ready for. The anchors tried to push back, framing Kamala's struggles as misrepresented moments, but Maher didn't let it slide. He reminded them of the infamous word salads, the awkward laughter, the repeated sound bites that feel disconnected from reality. He didn't mock her, he didn't need to. He simply pointed out that if this is the person being positioned as a potential frontrunner, voters deserve honesty, not spin. What really sent shockwaves, though, was how Maher flipped the script on media accountability. He argued that the real crisis wasn't Kamala Harris herself, but the way networks like CNN enable politicians by refusing to cover them honestly. He even said flat out, "The press isn't supposed to be a fan club." That line? Already viral, already clipped and reposted across X and TikTok, getting thousands of shares within hours. And here's where it gets interesting. Maher wasn't just criticizing CNN for protecting Harris, he was warning them that in the digital era, the cover-ups don't work anymore. You can't put the genie back in the bottle once millions of people have already seen the footage themselves. You can't spin away reality when reality is being live streamed. By the end of it, CNN looked rattled. The panelists tried to laugh it off, tried to move on, but the clip was already circulating online, and viewers knew they'd just witnessed something rare, a mainstream network being checked live on its own platform. And that's why this story is blowing up. Because it wasn't loud, it wasn't chaotic, it was calm, it was steady, and it was devastating. Bill Maher exposed a truth that CNN didn't want to face. That trust is earned through honesty, not by shielding politicians from their own mistakes. And that's the real takeaway here. Bill Maher didn't just criticize Kamala Harris. He put CNN under the microscope. He showed, in real time, how the media's instinct to protect politicians is exactly what's eroding public trust. The calm delivery made it sting even more. No yelling, no theatrics, just undeniable logic. And that's why the clip exploded online. People aren't just watching Kamala's stumbles, they're watching the media's reaction to them. And when someone like Maher calls it out live, it hits harder than any viral meme. So what's the lesson? The days of controlling the narrative are over. Viewers don't want spin, they want honesty. And Bill Maher's takedown was a reminder that sometimes the most devastating critique isn't loud. It's calm, clear, and impossible to ignore. Because in the end, the truth speaks louder than spin.